Hello. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the next thing. Next thing is okay, not this. Okay. I think we've already done this. Uh should have let's have okay. I think we've already done this. Okay. Working with depths and working with depth. Whenever you have busy backgrounds, there are some times that you can use blur to your advantage. I'm going to show you that shortly. Now, take a look at this image. Now, let us try to see if we can understand the composition from this image, right? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Now, how do you know the place that gives more, that derives, that commands more attention to you? Really just by it, the answer to that is that it's really just by seeing what do you see first, what do you think calls for your attention. In this case, the faces. You're not so concerned about the glasses behind them. You're not so concerned about that. You understand? So if you really want to understand the composition, what really is going to command attention in this design is what, in this particular background, is what these faces. So if you're going to be doing anything, make sure that it's not intersecting with those ones. Even if you're going to have intersection, it should be very, very minimal. Now, in this case, we're not just going to place, we're not just going to place text on this image. We're going to do something using field blur. Those of you that use Photoshop, you easily get this. Or if you're not using Photoshop, you can actually do this anyway. You just have to know how to use blur. But it's easier in Photoshop because it has what exactly. You come to filter, blur gallery, go to field blur. Now, all field blur does is it creates blur points, different blur points. Now, I only need these faces. That's where I need to be clear. Every other place, I don't really need them. So I have two blur points now. One that is on the faces, and the other that is just at the extreme, one of the extreme points that I don't really need clarity on. I select where I need less blur, just take it down completely. Okay, I think I'll just take it down here. All right. Now, on the other hand, for these ones, okay, just to make sure that the clarity, the sharpness extends to this side, I'm just going to add more points. Add more points. So notice as I think I'm just going to make this blur. I can also add one more here. So generally what I'm just doing, I'm just adding blur points, but leaving out, making sure that I place the points that really shows the things I want to be part of my background, part of what we draw people's face into this design, is I make sure that those ones are clear, they are very much sharp. The blur there is 0. Other places, blur can be so much really. So I think I'll just take this one back to 15. It's kind of extreme. All right, so I'm done. When I'm done with this, that's all I need for this particular image. All right, now then I just add colored background behind it. I'm going to pick one of the, let me just pick this one or something brighter. So with that and simple layer marks, select gradients, black to white, black at the top, white other side. That's because I want it to blend well. Okay, understand? So in this design now, looking that we already have, this is already a background that has a little level of attraction in it. The reason why I say little level of attraction is because the faces are small. So definitely we can have another focal point in this design that commands very much more attention. Now, let me explain it this way. First of all, understand the background. Do you think the focus, the attention in your background is very much? Now ask yourself, can you create another focus point that is more than it, or you can't do that? Maybe you just have to create other supplementary or subordinate elements. You understand? But in this case, the focus already here is just, let me say, it's just average. So I can still, because it's just average. What I mean that is just average is that there are many faces here, and they're all small, so it really doesn't do so much to attract. It attracts, yes, but I can still create something that can attract attention more than it. Yeah, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So let's say I just type in a text, corporate, let's say World Summit. Let's make this somewhere around here. Bold. Okay. Okay. So this is another layout that we have here. Are we together? Understand? Now, notice that World Summit already commands a level of attention. I will still say it's more than the picture. But notice something. Whenever you have detail in your background that you want it to be visible, make sure it is a detail that emphasizes the message that you're trying to pass, or emphasize the title that the new title that you're creating. All right. Now, World Summit is supposed to be like a gathering of corporate looking guys for a kind of business meeting or something. That title is random, okay? So it's not like I planned it, but assuming it really relates to each other, that's the whole point of it. This image, because I want it to be clear, it's part of my object of attraction. It should complement it in terms of meaning. All right, in terms of meaning. You understand? The visual part of it is that it should not be so attractive that it distracts from the main focus. But the part of passing the message is that it should explain further, or it's more or less it should pass the message, or let me say explain the message more, or add to the message that is being passed from the title. You understand? So really that's just about it. Understand how we use blur here. We don't need the rest of the image to be very clear. We just need the faces, I mean part of the shirt. Do you understand? Who's with me?
I am.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't know, these guys might disconnect us very, very soon, but if at all we are disconnected, I'll make sure that the link is added back to my website immediately. So mainly if we are disconnected in less than 5 minutes, just make sure you connect back. All right. Usually, I think it's 40 minutes, that's the limit. So they should have disconnected us by now, but I really don't know why they haven't. But let's move on. So please, do we get this concept here? The concept of moving or adjusting the blur to areas that you don't need. This image itself is busy already. So I need to use the field blur that we used. All right, I need to use that field blur to blur out some areas and leave out some areas that I need to be clear. The areas I don't need to be clear, the glasses, this table in front, I really don't need all this information. What I need is that I need their faces to show and part of their clothes to see that these guys are corporate guys. Do you understand? That's really what I need people to see in this design. All right. So, like I said again, we made use of field blur. Just filter blur gallery. You have to select the image first. I have to select the image first. Filter, block gallery, then fill block. That's it. Just put points, block points on different areas. All right. You just need people to see these smiling faces to show. Now, this will help you when if you are kind of too busy to cut images. I could, if I had more time, or probably I don't want this background, I would have gone ahead to cut them one by one. That would really take a long time. But I'm trying to work fast. I'm trying to make use of what I have. I don't have much time. So how can I make use of what I already have? Using blur is one thing that will help you. All right. You blur the parts you don't need, leave out the important parts that you need. All right. Then try to see how you can. If the picture, I think this picture was big enough, I won't need to add this white section, but it's not big enough, so I just blended it up with a plain background. You understand? Okay. Of course, this design might not necessarily be complete. It might just have a small rider text, or maybe the information as regards maybe dates, all those kind of things. Maybe like 12th September, 8 p.m. Sktch, Lagos or something. Okay, could just have it like a rider, like a subtitle that gives more information about this event. All right. So the main thing I actually notice about design is that once you have your focus ready, every other thing can just fall in place. All right. So this design is more or less, to me, this design is done, except I want to put some other information, but really this does what I needed to do. This does what I need to do already. Okay, I can now take more time and say, okay, now maybe I need some interesting colors on this. Maybe, yeah, maybe something like that. More or less, this is like done, and we did this in less than, I don't think we spent over 30 minutes on this. So that's that part, making use of blur. So remember what we said, you can either have composited backgrounds or ready-made backgrounds. Now, of course, these ones are examples of ready-made backgrounds. If you have much imagery, have less typography. Now, the same rule, this particular rule, it would be wrong of me to have a paragraph, like have a full body. Let's say, it would be wrong of me to have something like this. No, not that. It's wrong of me to have so much text. Let's say, don't make that mistake. You now start putting text like this on. The thing is, I'm going to show you on that step. If you want to do something like this, I'm going to show you something else that will help you to do that. But once you have a background like this that is clear, we can see that there are some people in this back. You should not have text there at all, because that background is already calling for attention. If you're going to put another text there, that text is also going to call for attention. So you're going to have competition there. So you cannot have competition. So one has to stay with. If you really want this background to be part of the design, then you don't need text there. All right, you don't need text here. So just to recap, we needed this image, but we don't need every part of it. We just needed some part. We used fill blur. In blur gallery, we added some blur points and some sharp points. That is all. Then we created. Since we noticed that this background has a level of focus, but not so much, and we noticed that we can create something that has higher focus than it. Then we created a title text that is very bold and very deep. You understand? So if you take this, if you zoom this out, you will see what summit very much. You will see it first before even seeing the faces that you have there. You understand? So that should tell you that there's hierarchy here already. What summit has the highest hierarchy, because even if it is small, you can see it. All right. When you zoom further, you now start seeing other ones. You see this, you see this, you see this. You understand? That's the way it works. That is proper hierarchy. Everything cannot be bold. It has to be one by one, or category by category. Do you understand that part? That's the category by category. So I was the last. I think that should be the last one. Now, lastly, we're going to talk about now, let's say you have a very, very busy background, but you actually don't need a busy background. You need something very simple. There's a little tip I'm going to give you here. Let's say you have something like this. Let's say you have something like this. I'm going to turn this off first. Let's say you have something like this. Okay, no, this needs to. All right, you have something like this. Obviously, our text is not legible on it. Is it? No, it's not. All right, let's see you have words on it again. No. Look at this. I want very plenty text on this. What does that tell me? I cannot have much imagery. All right. Remember what we stated here. If you're going to have more image, you have less typography, and vice versa. If you're going to have more typography, so already we have a demand. I need more typography on this design. But at the same time, I love this background, but then I'm not sure this background works with this level of typography. It needs to be less attractive than this. It needs to command less attention because I want my typography to be legible. What do? That means you have to convert it to something that is less dramatic. You have to convert it to something that calls for less attention. And what fits that description? Simple background. Let's say I still want to maintain the beauty of this background. I still want to maintain the colors in this background. What do? It's actually very easy. One of the things that you can do is just go here, blur, Gaussian blur. The more you increase the blur, the more the backgrounds get friendly for you. I think this is quite good enough, but I want to experiment higher and higher. So this is actually good enough for me. Okay, I'm just going to increase this. Okay, so this is good enough for me. My text is legible. My text is legible. The next thing I now need to fix is it's just this one, and then maybe I just take this and take it as pure white. Of course, these texts are too big. Okay, that's too big. That's too small rather. So, who's with me here? Can you ask questions? You don't get something I did. Okay, just assuming this is what we have. Hello. You can unmute your mic if you have a question, or let me just check the chat. No. Okay. Yeah. So you can see now we turned our background to a simpler one. All right, we turned it to a very much simpler one, but we kind of still maintained the beauty of the background, the colors. Okay, Mario asks, how about putting a rectangle behind the text? Now let's do this one. Now, you know something, your design does best when you have less drama. When you have, sorry, not less drama, when you have less elements passing the message. I don't know if you get what I mean. Now, of course, I can turn this off and put a rectangle. Let me get something. I can put a rectangle for, let's say, yeah, it still works, right? It still works. So, but we have actually still done the same thing. We reduce the beauty, sorry, we reduce the level of attraction. Do you understand? We reduce the level of attraction in the background, whichever way do it, whichever way you do it. The idea is that you're doing the same thing, just different approaches. But but me, I would rather say I prefer the blur. Of course, this is a very great option because this is still quite cool for me. This is still very much quite cool. Understand? It's still very much quite cool for me. I like what I have here. Understand? I like what I have here actually. I'll be sincere with you. I like what I have. I'll do Emmanuel. Please go ahead. If you have a question. I like what I have here. But I'm just saying, in case you don't want to do that, in case you don't want to do that, you could do other things. You can just make use of your blur, because the beautiful thing about using your blur is that it retains the color. You understand? It retains the color, which is also part of the beauty. You understand? You don't want to you want this background to be very much accommodating, but at the same time you don't want it to lose the beauty that it has, especially the color, because people love colorful things. You understand? So this still works. Yes, it still works. Understand? But of course it depends on how you use it. But this still helps retain the color. The text is legible. The color of this image is still there. I like the fact that you have a kind. I told some people that sometimes when you use gradient blur on an image, you blow out the image completely. You create an organic gradient. You understand? You create an organic gradient. Organic as in ORGANIC. You understand? You create an organic gradient. You have colors, different areas, mixing in a kind of natural way. Understand? It's not like the gradients you actually create. You have to control this, do this, do this. No. You have an organic, ready-made, and more natural gradient that has beautiful colors already within them. That's what I used to explain this. It's an organic gradient, and most of the time it has a kind of rich beauty to itself. So, but based on suggestion from Mario, yes, you can also have a rectangle, but it depends on how you use it. It really depends on how you use it. Now, of course, this was a very, very easy application. In some applications, adding rectangle might really not be the best because it might be kind of clouding some things. It might be like your design, it might be now that your design is having too much elements. It's just having too many things. I don't want more rectangles. Don't add, if you're adding lines and adding more of that. The thing is, the good thing about design is that the work of a designer is that pass most of the message or 100% of the message with less content as possible. All right. As I used to tell people, assume that your audience don't have the time to look at what you are presenting to them. So make sure that you are passing most of or all the message with the least level of content possible. You understand? Of course, in this case, the rectangle is not really doing so much. So I won't say it's really a bad thing. But in some applications, I really don't know the kind of example I can give here. But in some applications, adding rectangles or adding this here and that, here and there might not really be the best. You understand? But the idea is make sure that you cut down the attention that the background is demanding. Just it, cut it down. However you do it, this approach is use the blur everything out. Understand? Another approach that we discovered from Mario is why not use a rectangle? Or why not use a rectangle? Understand? But the disadvantage of using a rectangle here is that it has stolen the beauty of the colors that I really wanted to see from the background. You understand? Because even if your background is going to be simple, it should be beautiful too. It should be beautiful, but not too beautiful. You understand? It should be beautiful, but not too beautiful. Look at what we have in this one. You can see that this particular one here is just white. This one has blue and some minor patterns in it. You understand? Of course, most people will still prefer the white anyways, but I'm just saying, I think this was kind of too extreme. This was a design I did some time ago, and it was under kind of a pressure, so I really didn't put my all into it. So what I'm just saying is that if I had probably had more time, I would have known how to make this background more friendly. You understand? But usually something that has color in it is usually more interesting than something that doesn't have color in it. Something like white that has white background with black background. It's just too basic sometimes. All right. So that's what the advantage that this has over all those things. All right. So just understand that sometimes the headline here is that turn a dramatic background to a simpler one. Let's say you are tired of using dynamic backgrounds. All right, you're tired of using dynamic backgrounds. Then you can just, well, I don't have time to worry about a dynamic background. Just blur everything out or find a way to cut down the level of attraction from the background, and that is going to solve the problem. So please, I think that's all for what I'll be teaching on dynamic backgrounds. So if you have questions now, please quickly send them in. Quickly send them in. And please, let me remind you again, if at all this class is disconnected, in 5 minutes, the link would have been updated on my Gsharp page. All right. So if this class is disconnected by any means, just connect back from the Gsharp page. All right. So please send in your questions if you have any now. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm expecting.